Well, hello all. Here we are again. Here's a good friend of mine, fellow bio member. We met through bio, and then we found out we're both car guys. Simon Allsop, co-founder of Bull Rush Rally, and iKeep is his founding business. And today I really just want to have a chat about mindset around what makes a good business owner, because surely, Simon, you must find out, get all types of people, and because I think you're the numbers guy, you can solve all their problems.
Yeah.
And I'll, go into that as well. But straight off the bat, what's your biggest, kind of struggle? Is it fixing mindset around business startups, owners, or they think because you're a magician and you've got all these relationships, you can come in and solve their business problems because they just don't understand the numbers?
Yeah, look, it's a good question, because I think when you're starting up a business or you're looking at someone who's run their own, because I guess I've started a business a couple of times over. So I did the first accounting business, started from scratch, and then did an exit on that about 9 years in, had some time off. I've created the Bull Rush brand, which is a community of 3,000 high net wealth individuals. Created the iKeep, the daily accounting and payroll business, and again from scratch, nothing. And then a couple of years later, we're servicing almost 400 businesses with thousands of people on payroll every month. And so we see a lot of businesses, whether it's inside the Bull Rush community or inside the iKeep business. And so you're right. People do say, like, how do you think my business is going? Or what do you think I should do next inside the business? Or what's the difference between a business that does well versus a business that doesn't? Or even every now and then you get asked to go, oh, can you speak at this startup community event or something? And then so there's a big delineation between the people that have ideas and the people that are doers. And inside that, you've also got to figure out when is the appropriate time to have perseverance and not give up, or when's the time where you've flogged a dead horse and you need to just kind of let it go? Because you see some of these people that are still flogging something and the idea or the product is terrible. Someone needs to tell them their child's ugly. But there's a difference, because to have a successful business, you've got to be a little bit crazy, absolutely persistent.
Probably why you and I are good friends.
Got to be a little bit nuts.
Mate, you have to be fucking nuts. You have to be, because the amount of liability, employment liability alone, we could have a whole discussion on employer liability, but you also need, I believe, is your level of, my 11, 12-year business owner, odyssey is a funny story, but my resilience level over the years has increased. And stuff that used to stress me out 5, 6, 7 years ago doesn't even batter an eyelid with me now. The problems never go away. What do you think in this modern age of AI and marketing, what do you feel, and changing the way, because we keep coming back to this, you have to kind of be a different person as a business owner. I was an okay recruiter. It took me multiple years to become a really good business owner in recruitment. And I still fuck it up from time to time.
Oh, we all do. That's being human. So
what I'm really keen to know is, and I guess what everyone watching this is do you see the same problem time and time again? And is it a lack of them not being present, listening? Because numbers are cray-cray. If you fuck the numbers up, I love people who try to tell me their P&L is great, but they don't understand what the hell I'm talking about balance sheet.
Standard. We talk about the evolution of a business owner understanding their numbers, where you've got kind of like stage one. They judge their business by what's in the bank account. You've got the stage two business owners that look at their P&L, which is better than the guys that look at their bank account to figure out what's going on. But the P&L is always a historical picture. It tells you what you did. It's like driving your car, looking out the rearview mirror. You can kind of see a little bit, but it doesn't show you what's around the next corner. And then you kind of got these stage three guys where they've started to look at their balance sheet and realize the balance sheet's a bit like a crystal ball, because it tells you what you've got to work with in your business going forward. It tells you your cash, tells you your receivables, tells you your GST payable, your superannuation and all this. So I guess when in the iKeep business, when we're working with businesses, we try and educate them on what they need to be looking at from a financial perspective inside their business. And so if they're not looking at the balance sheet, it is like driving your car, looking out the rearview mirror, rather than looking forward, looking ahead, having cash flow forecasts, having budgets, having projections. And some people go, oh, budgets are a waste of time because you never know every variable. You don't know every variable, but you can plan how to minimize your expenses or rationalize your costs as a result of doing the budget. So kind of doing the budget, you might never look at it again, but doing the exercise of doing a budget actually has a huge amount of value in there to tighten your belt, particularly at the moment when cost of living is up, all the costs are up. It's harder to get customers than ever before for most small businesses.
Yep.
You need to be looking at what you can do to rationalize costs to at least keep some margin and some profit in there as a business owner.
Couldn't agree more. I love talking to our fellow business owners. We have lots of conversations, but you kind of know the business owners that understand their numbers.
Totally.
Versus the guys that don't want to discuss numbers and they're just talking vision with you. Now, vision, we need vision. We need to know what's good and what's bad. But I meet a lot of business owners that are multi-generational, like they've taken the business on from their parents, or it's in the group, they're fourth generation, third, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're younger, but they've got really old ideas on how their business should operate.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know if it goes hand in hand, like when you see accounting issues, are you also seeing sales issues? Are you also seeing culture issues in the business? Because
like your question there, like scratches the surface of like the difference between what I would call an entrepreneur, which is someone who has started a business from zero, versus someone who has gained an ongoing business. And they might have got it through generational transfer, or they might have bought a business.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
many people buy a business, but if you're handed the keys to a business, or if you buy a business, you will never intimately understand what it takes to build those processes, build those systems, understand exactly what customers need, or it'll take a much longer time. Because in your first sprint as a business, where you're getting from your $0 to $1 million turnover, you learn a lot of lessons the hard way. You go down so many dead ends that are not right, and you then tweak things and change things or put a process in place. And then you keep on going on your way, make another mistake, underservice someone, do something wrong, which we all do. And then you go, okay, never doing that again. And like you go through the school of hard knocks on how to run a business. And so, when it is a different generation coming in, they might have not experienced what it was like to have zero cash when you've got a big tax bill and you're like, your back's against the wall. You've got stress through the roof trying to figure out, what do I do, trying to make ends meet. And it's like, you cannot replicate that through any discussion unless you're actually in the hot seat yourself.
The reason I'm having this reaction is, you know a little bit about my story, but this is going to sound really fucking crazy. But when I was 36 and my first big recruitment business in Australia, and I won bust owing $1.2 million, I had no idea why or how I ended up owing $1.2 million. So, and that took 4 years to sort out, liquidation, all that. And then, the amount of lessons that I learned from that. So my CFO is my ex-accountant. She left to go traveling and then said, I'm going to come run your books. And Rachel's been with me ever since. Right. And Rachel and I are completely different characters. She's a chartered accountant, almost chartered. I'm the entrepreneur.
But you see, that's you've got to be careful in thinking that all accountants are commercial.
Oh, fuck yeah.
We see a lot of business owners go to their accountant as their trusted advisor.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, guys, there are some really, really good commercial accountants out there who know their numbers, know business, put the two of them together, and are just incredible. And fortunately, we've got a bunch of them in our network we work really closely with. But your average accountant out there, honestly, is a box filler for the ATO that communicates really poorly, wouldn't have their own business if doing ATO lodgements wasn't compulsory for every business and every individual in the country out there. The ATO effectively does the marketing for a large number of accountants out there. You wouldn't want them in your business trying to tell you how to make decisions inside a successful, profitable business. That's not all accountants. There are a handful and a bunch that are really, really good, but they get given a level of authority that most don't deserve. So I'd be very cautious hiring like an accountant to then come into a commercial business. Be cautious.
Oh, Rachel's been with me 8 years. And she's very different.
She's probably one of the good few.
She's
I've never
good.
met her, so
no. You will one day.
Yeah.
She will one day. And you want. And Rachel and I have been on our own odyssey. By the way, I hate the word journey. I don't know why. There's something about Simon Cowell said something once about journey, and I just said, fair enough. Everyone's on a fucking journey. It's called life. And since then, I just went, it's an odyssey.
Odyssey, that's a nice word. Yeah.
We're all on a fucking odyssey.
I believe you got to enjoy
because everyone's on a fucking journey. Apparently, everyone's special and everyone's on their own journey. It's called fucking life. So, I feel as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as the business grows, I'm curious about the conversations that you have with these entrepreneurs, because obviously they're visionary, their businesses are growing hard.
Yeah.
They're coming on bull rushes, they're buying cars, but suddenly, are they then the person that they should be running their business? Or do you struggle with telling the entrepreneur, hey, it's time to hand the reins over to someone else because you're really good at this, but now you need to be fucking good at that?
Yes.
That you're not.
It's a different skill set once you get to different stages of business. So let's just say you break it into your startup to $1 million turnover. It's kind of like, as a business owner, you're doing everything. All aspects of the business. You're doing some admin, some HR, some sales, some doing the actual client work, whatever it is. Exactly. You're doing the rubbish bins.
Everything.
You are doing everything in that first 0 to $1 million turnover. Once you get to the next stage of your $1 million plus, so maybe 1 mil to 5 mil turnover, your role as the founder changes. You're doing different things. The other thing you've got to be careful of in that stage is that you don't become comfortable as a business owner and take your hands off the reins because you've got more cash flow turning over, because it is possible to make bigger decisions, therefore bigger mistakes. And in businesses in this sort of level, one of the interesting conversations we have with them are like, oh, the leads seem to be drying up or whatever else, or for whatever reason. And it's like, don't understand why. And had some interesting chats over the weekend with some mates. And it's like, at that stage, as you get bigger, there's more delegation that has to take place, particularly in a service-based business. And the question that needs to be asked often in the businesses that size, do you have a product issue or do you have a marketing issue? Have a good look at yourself, particularly right now, while things are so tight out there and you've got to market better than you ever have before. Do you actually need more leads, or do you need to service your existing clients a whole lot better so that they then spend more with you? They tell their friends about your service, and you've got other people that they're referring into you. And so to figure out whether you've got that product issue or whether you've got a marketing issue, that's when you have a look at your retention and your referrals.
I completely agree with that. I had a bit of turmoil in my personal life last year. Took my eye off the ball of the company. A couple of big clients. A couple of other agencies got in with those clients. And it things. So I get the whole taking your eye off the ball. But also, I think as you develop, as the company grows, as you get better funding, because at the end of the day, a company that just solely runs out of cash flow is going to go out of business eventually.
Totally.
You need the backing of a bank or a factoring company, and we use. But also, I meet a lot of. We run in similar circles, so we meet some of the same people. But I meet a lot of people that front hard, go, "Yep, I've got all this," but then you sort of look behind the facade and. It's not really a business. It's more of a lifestyle thing. It's more of a bragging rights thing. What I'd love to ask you, what makes the perfect client for yourself? What are you looking for? What is your nirvana? What is your perfect client for iKeep?
Oh, the perfect client for us. Look, we love working with businesses that are typically owner operated. They probably have anywhere between 5 and 25 employees on the books. And it could be industry agnostic. We're working with businesses that could be in hospitality, could be in tech, medical. There's a huge range of industries that we work in. But when they're at that size and not too much smaller, but not too much bigger too, there's so much leverage you can get off technology out there at the moment. So whether it's all your receipt scanning apps, the automation through things like Xero, your bank feeds and all of this. So there's a lot we can do to automate and systemize the back office for the accounting function in businesses like that.
I think the technology is, going in leaps and bounds. I mean, we've been using ChatGPT-4 now in the business for about a year, plugged it into Teams. We're already moving off it to the next integration. Because I kind of feel like we're in the Netscape versus Google.
Oh, totally.
Of where do you think the tech's going? Because I always, I'm very lucky that I have in-house resource when it comes to accounting, but where do you think the tech's going to a point where we're never going to be relevant? I mean, I'm in recruitment, you're in accounting. Like, it's two functions that we're always going to need there. But what I mean by the software is getting the software in place and then getting your clients to use it. Do you feel that that's a problem? Like,
no, I think all the savvy business owners want a better solution. Am I scared of AI in accounting stealing all our jobs?
Are we going to have our Skynet moment?
I don't feel concerned by that.
No.
All you've got to do is, like, a few of the hospitality clients, you see how many receipts are still handwritten. You've got to decipher, like, doctor's notes, what even went on in there. Like,
think that.
Good luck trying to make sense of any of that. But no, in all seriousness, AI and the technology will give us better leverage for our people. So, I mean, there's some famous quote out there that someone said, AI is not going to steal your job, but someone who uses AI will.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's all about making sure you've got the most efficient ways to deliver. And if you've got an efficient way to deliver, you can come in at a pretty good price point as well too. So, because even recently, we've won work off businesses that got lethargic and were charging way too much for the service that they were delivering. And we've just come in at a fair price for the fair amount of work that's being done. And they never passed on any discounts through getting things done more efficiently or less people on the account to service it. And then there's just fat in there. And if there's an unfair amount of fat in there, clients are getting savvy to all that sort of thing. Business owners don't want to overpay just for a brand or...
You know what? I totally get that. They don't want to overpay for that. But I also... I look for clients, and I know they're not looking for the cheapest price because at the end of the day, you cannot. If you're not making, I need a win-win. Yeah. Like, gone are the days, and this is how I got into shit in the Perth days.
Right.
Is do many handshake deals at low price because I was one of them and they were one of me, and we were going to do business together for years and years and years. Yeah. See, I got into shit when I think 6 or 7 builders went bust with me over a period of 7 months.
Whoa.
And then my factoring company at the time kicked me out because even though I had bad debt credit insurance, got kicked to another fund, which was charging me way more. I didn't know the numbers. I was getting charged higher. So my cost of sales was actually higher than what I was being charged. And I just went down the gurgler. No. Like that. That was the
recipe. Yeah.
Oh man, the liquidation was more than the company.
Every business owner has to know their gross margin. If you don't know your gross margin, you might as well just walk around blindfolded.
I have arguments about the difference between turnover, GP, and net. Yeah. And people think, what are you talking about? Whoa, come on. You don't understand the difference.
Yeah.
And they don't even know. I said, where's your tax position at? Where's this at? I think something that I'd also like to speak to you about is, and we are having is the change in superannuation to weekly payments. Do you think that's going to increase insolvencies?
Oh, there's a good chance it could, but I also think it's the right thing to do.
Oh,
so
yes.
I think for any business that we're working with, particularly a small business, if they've got cash flow issues, our tip to them is pay little bits and pay it frequently. Like, pay little things as frequently as you can. It's always easier to do little frequent payments than it is to wait till the end of a quarter, which is when superannuation is legally due, and then pay it then. Because, it'll force some good habits. It'll be tough as it comes in, but we've seen too many employees just get ripped off by not getting paid. So, and the employees are one of the first things, particularly at super, that misses out when a business goes under. And so it'll be good to see employees not hit as hard.
I think that's great. With super, with payments, what I'm starting to see is there's been a couple of big insolvencies in our space recently. Big ones, like, don't even get me started on it. But what I'm seeing though is we all had good times. Like, it was a good time leading up to COVID. We all died at the start of COVID, I lost 93% of my business in 10 days at the start of COVID.
Whoa.
I was, but the classic thing, too many eggs in one basket. I was too reliant on one client.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, and that client
one industry therefore.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And then so it went, whoa, and we had 4 or 5 months cash on the balance sheet okay, how long is COVID going to last for? Oh, gosh, a couple of weeks. At that stage, we're all like, you know,
it's nothing. Then
it's out there, and then it'll be all right. And then when you know it wasn't, and then you know, obviously JobKeeper came in, and then you know, I feel that like with products like Creditor Watch and all the credit rating tools and all that. There's a lot of tools out there to vet clients.
Yeah.
But are you also seeing iKeep sort of having to be a marketing company as well to help these companies market their businesses, to increase their sales, to like, because I kind of see you as kind of someone, you know, I know you well. It's like you're quite you know, you a lot of people feel very comfortable talking to you. So I can see that you also you know, bordering on being a corporate counselor and like, we need to do marketing. You need to do this. You need I kind of see your services just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Look, those conversations are very much casual conversations in this. It's not a core part of the service that we provide. But I guess one of the key differences of our business is you've got an entrepreneur running it. You've got someone who has started, grown, and exited a business in there. You've had someone who's done a lot of the tough lessons themselves on the way through. And to go back to your comment on understanding your margin, one of the most tragic situations we see happen within our client base is a client that'll hunt their revenue growth, and while their revenue is growing, the profit either stays the same or the net profit trickles down because the increased top line has taken more internal people, general manager salaries, management salaries. And so they've doubled their top line and their profit. The business owner's taking less out of the business than they did when the business was half the size, and they're working twice as hard. And so it's like, there's this fallacy where a lot of business owners like chase turnover. Yeah. But if they don't understand their margin, if they haven't done their budget and their plan on what it realistically takes to run a business of that size, there's actually an interesting curve on profitability where it increases to a certain point. Yep. And then you've actually got to make some investment. And so you've got to expect your net profit to go down until you get to another turning point when it'll go back up. Yeah. Some businesses don't know how low that turning point's going to go in their growth curve. And that's when you hit the insolvency picture before, and sadly, right before it'll take off to a place of great profit and sustainable earnings.
I have a saying in my business: balance sheet above all, including me.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Balance sheet above me. Yeah. Like it's the one document in the company that it's king, it's queen, whatever you want to fucking call it. It's nice. Don't fuck with it. Don't fuck with the balance sheet.
Nice.
I've learnt the hard way.
Yeah.
Being on the back end of an ugly liquidation. You know, liquidators are great people to have beers with. They're not so much great people to have fucking meetings with. You know, I can laugh about it now, man. Like, fuck, you know, 30, you know, and and you know, it all got sorted out in the end. But the respect I have for the numbers now is
numbers, on-time lodgements.
Yes.
And this too, because a big difference in personal liability with if you're getting your lodgements in on time, even if you can't afford to pay it, you need someone to just at least give you those heads up.
Well, so what I'm seeing is increased collection activity from the ATO at the moment.
Absolutely.
We're seeing it on Creditor Watch.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I don't know if I agree with it being public knowledge after 90 days. I'm not. It's because if we saw a client that had a late lodgement with the ATO, that's fine, but you know, that's not going to show. But 90 days, that's effectively putting a death warrant. Like they're done. They're out.
Then it makes it hard for them to get finance, and something that's popular to do is to get external finance to pay off an ATO debt.
Yep.
Because then all of a sudden the interest is tax deductible. Yep. You can do it over a longer period of time than you might be able to get with the ATO.
And you're seeing a lot of that happen at the moment.
A bit. But they're going to struggle to get it if the ATO's put a default on their file.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's kind of, this difficult cycle that can be triggered.
What I'm also seeing is a lot of business owners not being present with an issue. Like I get,
they love to avoid a tough conversation or a
Yeah.
tough issue. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
they prefer to talk to me about this or that or staffing. Like they'll come to me and we'll talk, staffing solutions, or they'll come talk to you about numbers and stuff. And you go, hang on.
Or sales and projections and the next big idea, the next product that's about to launch, or
And then you go, hang on, I think we need to have a conversation. I say, this supervisor you've got in this company, this is the feedback that my people are giving me. And that's why you've got a revolving door there. But he's a really good guy to have a beer with. Or I know his wife.
Yeah, but business, you're not buying friends. Business is there for a purpose. Like, yes, look after them, treat them like they're your family, and look after them. But at the end of the day, it's got to go both ways.
I couldn't agree more. But I think it's an interesting thing. Like everyone thinks that we're all multimillionaires in business, right? Fuck yeah, it'd be nice. You and I would do the same thing. We just have fucking warehouses full of cars.
Yeah, basically.
That's it. Well, we'd still have the same house, but we'd have warehouses.
There'd be a couple more keys on the
There'd be a couple more keys on the car. There'd probably be your insurance bill. That's about it.
Totally. But overall, because again, this comes back to one of my beliefs that you've got to kind of like create your life by design.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like, don't wish you had a certain lifestyle. Actually figure out the lifestyle that you want and actually work towards it. Figure out the things you want to do, the things that you want to be able to do. Because as much as you hate the word journey, I would say
Odyssey journey. We could do journey.
You need to make sure you've got some milestones every year to remember the year by, or you want to have a lifestyle that you enjoy living, so you don't feel like you're sitting on the treadmill while you're working as hard as you need to get your business to the next level.
I couldn't agree more. I'm a massive geek on art. A lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah, right.
Obviously, I've got the Mustang, which is. We will talk soon. You've got your GT3 RS. I was, and I get you get these milestones, but I also meet a lot of people that get the milestones too quick because it's more of a status symbol. It's more of a, well, hang on, did your business really, like your business is 2 years old and you've got that car. Okay, it must be. I'm so congratulating to you. And then you hear them on the phone to their staff, and you're like, "What the how?"
But you know what? The thing I've learned with a few grey hairs that I've now that I didn't have 10 years ago.
Yeah,
and I've seen this firsthand in every instance. And look, we do see it every so often in Bull Rush too, where someone goes from zero to hero, and you're like, "Oh, that's a bit of a big jump between this year and last year." When we saw them.
Yeah.
But without fail, if it's too good to be true, it is. And something always happens which shows that it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
If it's too good to be true, it never is. Nothing beats hard work and just getting shit done.
Okay, so I don't know. I'm not reluctant to tell this story, and I tell it to you privately, but obviously, and to my clients that have these cars, I love you, and it's all good. Yeah. But anyone who I've done business with that has had a BMW X5 or a Range Rover Sport has either gone broke on me, owed me money, and never settled the bill, without fail. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
I know. I'm like, it's just without fail. And this is all from Perth days and stuff.
All right.
Like,
they're the red flags.
They're my red flags. But they're just my Perth stuff. Because every time I've done business with someone like that, there's always been a problem.
Yeah, wow.
Bills never settled. That was the construction days. But like, I see these patterns like of just, you say, is that too good to be true? Yeah. And it normally always is. Yeah. And
but it's not to say anything about the cars too, because I mean I've found the car circles a fascinating network group.
Oh yeah,
like you've got this commonality to be able to talk with people who a million emails wouldn't get their attention.
None at all.
But you turn up at like a Cars and Coffee, you turn up at a Bull Rush Rally event, you turn up at a car event, and you've got all these people that are just happy to talk about vehicles. And when you've created that initial bond, talking about a common interest,
I love it.
Then second, third, or fourth, oh yeah, by the way, what do you do again, or whatever else? Like I first heard about Zero being a thing because I met the guy that founded PayCycle, which is what Xero partnered with in the early days for their payroll solution before there was payroll in Xero. And he was at an event at Sydney Motorsport Park. And we're talking, oh, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I do accounting, this, that, the other. Oh, we do a payroll company. We kind of bolt on to this thing called Xero. And it's like, oh, I've heard of products like Sasu that just kind of freak people out. And it just doesn't work easily or anything like that. He's like, nah, this one's different. You need to check it out. And so, yeah, like interestingly enough, the car circles open some of the biggest doors and windows of opportunity because you're with switched on guys.
Yeah.
And they all want the next mod, the next car up. And so they all work hard to afford it. So.
But I've always been a car guy for a long time, but I had to have delayed gratification.
Yeah.
Okay. And people go to me, why the Mustang?
Mm-hmm.
Mustang I've always wanted since a kid.
Yeah.
Original Gone in 60 Seconds movie.
Yeah. The Eleanor.
Eleanor.
Yeah.
Okay. But I didn't want an Eleanor because that's what everyone does. So I always wanted but I could have had that car. I've only had that car, 13 months. And I waited a long time because the position of the company was that I could pay cash for it, had a budget, could have got that, but I didn't want to finance it.
Yeah, nice.
And then all the mods, and then we've got one more mod to go for Bull Rush.
Awesome.
One more. I'm going to try to get.
They always say one more, and it's never one more. It's like one more beer at the end of the night. It's never one more.
We're going to talk. It's like I really want 500 of the rear wheels on that with naturally aspirated. Once I'm there, I'm done.
Solid.
On that car.
Solid.
I'm not going to keep up with the Lambos. I might try to keep up with you, but I don't see.
What, you saying a Lambo's faster than me?
No.
I'm so offended.
Depends what Lambo we're bringing. DDE's now got a Revolto.
Yeah. Can't wait to see what they do to that.
I don't know either, but it's probably going to go. Alex is probably going to. Okay. I hear that Alex is setting up a shop in Melbourne.
Oh, really?
With Adrian.
Oh.
Apparently he's coming down in November.
Oh, wow.
And DDE is obviously going to be in F1 Singapore. So I hear that they're coming down as well.
Oh, interesting.
I was curious if DDE is going to show up on your little.
That'd be potentially. We watch all their stuff. I think Marco might have reached out. Yeah. Anyway, so
yeah, I guess we can talk about cars. How much time will we have left?
Still got another 20 minutes.
Okay, we can just talk about cars now, unless we want to talk about. Okay, I'll ask you one more question. Why accounting?
Why accounting?
Why accounting?
Why accounting?
Why not being an artist or?
Well, look, It's a good question. I think it stems back to at the end of school. I don't think I was really fixed on exactly what I wanted to do. I didn't really have a clear picture yet. I kind of figured that like if I can understand the language of business, it's going to set me a foundation for whatever industry I want to get into down the track. So worked hard in my last couple of years of school, did enough to get a cadetship at KPMG.
Cool.
And so it was a fair bit of weight on the shoulders at that point in time to try and get this. I felt like, life's pivoting on this. I wish I knew then that actually your marks at the end of school actually don't really matter that much. I think it's important to do your best, but don't let it weigh so much. But anyway, got into a cadetship with KPMG, and that opened my eyes to a whole bunch of big businesses, which was interesting. We're working on accounts like Optus, Virgin Mobile as it got started in Australia, Rural Press, a whole bunch of fascinating but household name sort of businesses, which was really interesting. But the catch with such a big business, and as someone like so far down the food chain working on them, you see like the tiniest minuscule little bit of that business that is barely even 2 or 3 words in a financial report of what it counts for. And it was like, look, I learned good system, good process inside that business. But I think I've loved working with small businesses since because what you do can actually make a difference inside it. And look, I'm sure that if I worked my way up in inside a big firm, maybe I could make a small bit of a positive difference in a bigger thing. But working with small businesses, you can make a tangible difference. And when you're working with a small business owner, the average small business owner, at least 80% of their net worth is tied up in the business that they're running. So if you can make a positive impact on a small business owner's business, you have just changed that person's life. You've changed the outcome for their family, their kids, and everything if you can look after them.
What is the common thread to a successful business versus a non-successful business?
Oh,
there must be a common thread.
It's a good question.
Like obviously every business is different, but there must be some core values or some foundation.
Maybe core behaviors even.
What are the core behaviors?
I think some of the core behaviors, those that are running the most profitable and successful businesses do understand their numbers. They understand their market. They understand what their market needs, how to service it. They are relentless when it comes to the quality of their product.
Yep.
Unless it is the best, it's not good enough.
Okay. Love it.
And they're definitely a little bit crazy. They're on the spectrum. They're taking risks that other people wouldn't take, but because they know their product's the best, they know their market better than anyone else, it's an educated risk. So to everyone else, it looks like it's a little bit wild, but they themselves know they can pull it off.
I knew at 8 that I was going to be a business owner.
Yeah, nice.
You know, I got diagnosed with dyslexia at a really young age, so did that. But I don't know about you, but I'm an horrendous employee. I say this a lot. Like, fuck, you know, I love how you say the whole corporate thing, KPMG. If I stayed around, I could have made partner or whatever. There was no fucking way you were going to do that, mate. Like, you would have done that. No.
But you know what? The interesting thing was, after I sold the first business that I had, it was a really interesting period during non-compete. Didn't work in the industry, and so I had plenty of time to think.
Yep.
And so obviously got paid out well selling the first business and that too. And like I did chat with a recruiter or two to go like, I wonder if it's time to go under the wing of someone else or try something different for a bit. But I could never get comfortable with the idea of building someone else's dream at the expense of not building up my own.
Yep.
So no matter how good the offers were, unless there was a piece of ownership on the table in what I was doing next, it was never going to cut it.
The ownership's important, and I don't know about you, but I start mutinies in businesses. Like I've started a few mutinies in my time.
Right.
Me versus the management team, or I've done that. I'll always speak up in there. But I just, at the end of the day, I love employing mavericks in the business. But I don't know about your thing, but like we all need more people in our businesses.
Absolutely.
I need more recruiters. Yeah. You need more staff. What do you look for in an ideal employee for iKeep? What's your ideal?
That's a good question.
Person walks through the door, and what are you looking at?
That's a good question. I'm in the fortunate position where I don't have to hire too much locally because the guys that we've got stay with us a really long time because we try so hard to deliver everything that they need. And one of the interesting things is they all need different things. They don't need the same thing. So you've got to actually spend a bit of time to get to know them to figure out what they need. But if and when, which is a couple of times a year, we're looking for new people locally because we hire both offshore and onshore. And so with the guys that we've got locally, the key thing is, it's going to sound a bit bullshit, but it's the culture fit.
No,
so it's like, are they going to get on with everybody else that we've got in the organization? Yeah. Are they the type of person that's going to live and breathe by our values? Like make tomorrow better than today.
Yep.
Are they going to take ownership on any client or any responsibilities that they're given? Are they going to be building a team?
Yep.
And do they celebrate success? Because we all want to have a bit of fun along the way too. So are they the sort of people you can do those things with or see that in them? And I guess that's where you then go, okay, tell me about your experience. And you kind of go hunting for, are they the sort of people that, take the ownership and exhibit all those qualities? Because if they're going to tick those boxes, you know it's going to be a good fit.
I always like interviewing people in coffee shops or because I want to see how they interact with other people.
Oh, right.
You know, how they
are they polite to the waiter?
A little bit, not stuff like that. But during COVID, I employed Anthea, who's still with us today.
Nice.
AKA Boss Lady, or sorry, Mrs. Boss Lady. She just got recently married. You know, I look, culture's so important because culture can make or fucking break you.
Yeah.
It can break you personally because you're like, I come to the office and it's just a fucking shit show.
Yep.
I do like a dysfunctional circus. I'm not going to lie, especially with the sales team.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as we both know, sales and ops or sales and accounting don't talk the same language.
Yep,
so
totally.
You've got to have some translators there. But what also with your client base, what's a great turnaround story? Like what's a business that you took on board, or they were good and then they were bad, but they listened to you.
Yeah.
And they actually put into place exactly what you did. We're not names or anything.
Yeah.
That must be, you know,
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Often it's not so much as turning around, but just opening their eyes to a different way of doing business.
Yep.
So like there was a group of podiatrists that we started working for a few years back, and they had a internal accounts person 5 days a week, manually entering into MYOB every transaction that went through, because old Betsy, or whatever her name was,
The way they've always done it.
had just done it that same old way. And so we had a look, the volume of transactions, it's like they actually had a pretty good front of house POS and booking system that would synchronize to accounting software. If they had accounting software that had a good open API and could do that sort of thing. And so we literally took this group of, I think there were 3 or 4 clinics that they had open, dotted around Sydney at that point in time. And we're like, look, they came to us because Betsy was retiring. So we didn't steal Betsy's job or anything. She was already on the way out.
Betsy was going away.
But it was like, she was probably going on a cruise or whatever they do.
Still on the cruise.
But that job that was taking that person a full 5-day-a-week wage with the right software in place, just linked through APIs and the like, we scoped that to be a 2-day-a-week job. So not necessarily just 2 days in a week, but it was only a couple of hours a day that it took to stay on top of everything. So because you could feed data in automatically, you could set up bank rules, and the receptionist on the front door was opening the mail. Why didn't she just scan it at the same time, sort of thing? So it was, from we literally carved out a wage, and that they've since been able to go on a really significant growth journey because they weren't strangled by the costs of just running their business. Live picture of how they're going, clearer than ever, up to date, not falling behind. And it was
stressing them out. And as I say this all the time, but entrepreneurs, business owners, especially when you have multiple entrepreneurs in the same business, their bandwidth is only so much.
Yeah.
And if they're using their bandwidth in the wrong way, the business will just crash and burn. And I've seen that in my own business where I'm like, I'm dealing with this, I'm dealing with that. No,
but that's where, as a commercial accountant, you've got to figure out how to get the message across to the business owner you're working with in the most succinct way. You've got to be able to pinpoint the issue and highlight it to them, not just hand them a set of reports, or not just go the deep. We're going to talk through every account on your balance sheet. No, you just got to pin down that one. You see this thing that's increased by $100,000 this month versus last month.
Why?
If it keeps going this way, big issues. And then they can go, that one thing. Give me one thing to focus on, and they'll work on it. But give them 20, none will get done. No. Give them one thing to do, that one thing will get done.
Yeah, absolutely. I've recently just put in a recruitment manager so I could focus on sales and focus on what I'm good at, building out desks and stuff.
Nice.
But I've learned the hard way that you need to be self-aware with the problem at hand. Now, we've all got problems in our business.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter how successful, doesn't matter how much money, that there is a problem there. Just waiting to fucking, generally at 4:45 on a Friday or 8:05 on a Monday morning is generally when these things come in. You're like, first cup of coffee. Oh, fuck.
All right.
Fuck.
That's why I don't check emails over the weekend.
Yeah, I need to take it. I need to take out of your book.
I don't do that. So
I had my laptop in the back of Lana on Sunday.
Just
in case.
Yeah, okay.
So did Mel.
Yeah.
But I can openly talk now about my fuck ups in business. Okay, and they were long and.
Well, I think if you've been in business long enough, you realize everybody's done a whole bunch of hard lessons along the way. No one has had an absolutely clear run and perfection all the way. We've all made mistakes.
Absolutely. And you got to learn by it.
Absolutely.
And if you don't learn by them, you're not going to be in business much longer. And they're generally the ones that are.
Or until you learn the lesson, you keep repeating the same mistake is the other thing that we see too. If people get through an insolvency too easy, they'll be the guys that are in there again in 12 months' time.
Oh, yeah. Mine went 4 years.
Oof.
4 years.
Yeah,
and that was fun. Man, I was swimming in Jack Daniels for a couple of years there.
Oh.
But there's nothing happening. They were busy. It was right at the end of the mining boom in Perth, and they had a lot of work to work through. There was a lot of stuff, and at the end of the day, they went, shit happens, Dave.
Oh gosh.
And then then they just get your letter and you get on with life. So but I guess we better start not all the doom and gloom in business. There are fun sides to business. I love being. I couldn't be an employee anymore. Only because I'm not very good at it.
Yeah. running a business gives you freedom that you don't have otherwise. One of the interesting things we've noticed in the bull rush community of 3,000 people is that all 3,000 are business owners. We don't have anyone sitting in there who is an exec or a senior in a large multinational corporation. They've probably got the cars, they've probably got the garage, they've probably got the nice toys and everything. But they don't have the freedom of time to be able to take a week off for these sort of things, or have the flexibility in the expense account to join some of the high ticket events that we put on. But the business owners, they've got both the cash and the time once they've kind of graduated to that level of success.
Absolutely. Let's talk about bull rush, because I've been dying to talk. We could have just had the whole podcast.
Nice.
Why did you were co-founder of Bull Rush?
Yes.
Where did the idea come from?
Oh, look, the first seed of the idea was probably a DVD when I was 16 years old. Mischief 3000, Johnny Knoxville, all the jackass guys went on a gumball rally across the USA.
They did.
And it was one of the most hilarious things I had seen at that point in time. And so look, that was probably the first seed. And then obviously I had a long way to go. My first car was like a Holden Barina. And so I was miles off anything like this. And so gradually I've slowly worked my way up the food chain with different cars, from like, the Barina to an Integra to eventually a BMW or something. And then started working my way from the ground up. And but there was this seed planted from a young age. So then when finally started to get into some of the European cars, it was like, let's see who else is around to go for a drive during the week or something, and started to enjoy driving. It was a way to kind of just get away from being in front of a screen and everything. I find that going for a drive through the countryside, that clears my head. And it's hard to, as a business owner, it's hard to find things that can sometimes clear your head, because if you sit down and have a quiet moment, sometimes all the ideas drop and all of this. Whereas if you're going for a drive, you're at least focusing on something, but it's just kind of like going with the curves, going with the turns. And I love a drive at the end of a big week or on a weekend to just kind of clear the head, reset and all of this. And so like over time, slowly built up this little WhatsApp group of guys that had a little bit of flexibility in time. Hey, let's go for a drive on Wednesday morning, or hey, let's go for a drive on Thursday. We'll do, whatever drive it is, typically out of Sydney, because that's where I'm based. And we'd go for drives. We'll be back at lunchtime. And all the people that could do this at short notice, it's all the business owners. They're like, you know what? It's been a tough week. I'm going to work a little bit later the day before, work harder in the afternoon. And so I built up a reasonable list in WhatsApp of guys that had the flexibility, the fun cars and all this. And whenever you got to your checkpoint, you'd actually have some really good chats about business. Oh, what are you doing this week? Oh, I got to let people go, or I've got these growing pains or whatever else. It's like, oh, I've seen that before. And so you'd actually have these great business chats, even though we're off doing something that we loved. And so Marco, my business partner in Bull Rush, was actually the one with the balls to actually go, we're going to put on a rally. And so five-star hotels, special events, let's shut down airstrips or put cars in places cars shouldn't be. Let's drag race airplanes and all these sort of things. And so my idea of going for a drive with a bunch of business owners in nice cars all of a sudden kind of got dialed up to 11 with his idea of doing, let's do an annual event, raise some funds for charity at the same time, do a good thing. Because if you've been fortunate enough to be where you're at, to be in this thing, you're doing well to give back. So let's put something on, a big event once a year. And so, I guess what started as a casual group of friends all of a sudden turned into a big event, and then connected like-minded people all over the country, in this one great community.
Well, this is my first this year, and I am thoroughly looking forward to it. As I've said to you, I've told my office, unless something's fucking on fire, don't call me.
Oh my gosh. You know, one of the best bits of feedback we ever got from a bull rush, there was, it would have been 2 years ago or so. And one of the guys came up to us on the Sunday morning. And he was like, I've been running my own business for 20 years. This is the first time in 20 years that I have not been able to check my emails in 5 days.
Oh, fuck. What, really?
Because he was just so excited for the whole time, every day. So
it's when the opportunity came. I couldn't come last year. November's a big month for me in the company. But, when I saw October, I went, yes. I've got the car. We've got that. I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for bringing the Mustang, but fuck them. Hey, let's see who's going to finish this thing.
Oh,
and
it's
who's
all
not.
good fun. It's all good
yeah,
banter.
absolutely. I fucking love it, man.
We had a few years in a row that anyone who brought an AMG, the AMGs wouldn't make it to the finish line.
No, because they do a head bolt.
Yeah, or it just took one tiny little stone, and the radiators are so soft, and a radiator leak would happen. So,
No. I ain't gonna have any of those dramas, my friend. Trust me, I will be there at the end.
Awesome.
I will be there at the end. Just trying to get my hand on these Michelin tires, and then we're good.
Yeah, nice.
Everything's on back order at the moment. I don't know. It's this thing,
right?
But I love it. Like I get the whole driving, clearing thing, ideas, structure. Like I was driving back from Sydney to Melbourne yesterday, right? I was like, that was great. I've done that trip so many times. And like I don't even break a sweat with it. But you're on the phone, you talk and stuff. Hey, let's do this, let's do that. I wish more people would do it.
Yeah. That was one of my big lessons from first business to second business.
Yep.
This time I take much more time out for myself to actually let the ideas settle. First business, long days, 6 days a week.
Yep.
And just
you don't know
almost 52 weeks of the year because you're just desperate to make something work.
Yeah, because you got no fucking money.
Yeah.
There is no plan B.
Second time through, you can actually do it level-headed, a little bit more chilled, and go, look, so long as every hour I put in is a worthwhile hour spent, then you don't feel guilty for not checking your emails over the weekend if you make sure you are 100% present and you've got your best version of yourself turning up every day of the week.
That's the thing that I had to learn. That's the biggest thing I had to learn is how to fucking be present.
Right.
Because that's showing up in my personal life. It's showing up in my business life. This lesson time and time again of, trying to, not trying, but at the end of the day, the buck stops with you.
Mm-hmm.
Your staff don't care much at the end of the day. As long as they're getting paid, as long as they love what they do, as long as they want to come to the office.
Yeah.
They're your responsibilities as a director.
Correct.
You also have a responsibility to yourself to show up and be present.
Yeah.
And if you're not showing up and being present, holy fuck! Like, how many insolvencies and liquidations have happened for fucking good companies just because the director was not present?
Yeah. Well, that's what we spoke about earlier today, where it's like you get to that level of comfort. And if you're not in that hustle phase where you've got to be 100% present to go from that $0 to $1 million, first part of growing, first stage of growing a business, and you get to a comfortable stage and your fingers off the pulse, that's dangerous.
And that's what I love about the car community. And we're talking about that. But obviously we're not saying to every business owner you need to get in the car community, but you've got fucking rocks in head if you don't get into the car community.
Yeah. But no, we don't need any Teslas or Priuses signing up. They can join the local crochet club or whatever they do. So
I took a beautiful picture in the Tesla Superstation on the way up to Sydney. Listen, it's all about equal opportunity parking. It didn't say I couldn't park there. Couldn't say I couldn't park there. I don't think there's any rules about saying EV park EV, but they can park in my car base. Why can't I park in this?
Does it identify as an EV?
No,
that's good.
Lana's definitely not EV. She likes. I don't know. Every EV. I get a massive argument, but like it just seems to be Teslas are the new whatever. I get that, but I'm all about hydrogen. Eventually, we're going to have to stop burning dinosaurs, but I'm not really.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but all synthetics. I don't know. We could discuss this until the cows come home. But
but is digging up all the earth the real solution to that? Shitload of mining goes into batteries.
Oh yeah, it's hard. Lithium. Anyway, I can tell you a lot about. We need a lot of diesel mechanics. If you're listening to this and a diesel mechanic and need a job, call me. I need diesel mechanics.
Right.
But I guess what I love about the car community is it's really easy to find like-minded people, as you say. But it's kind of like, it doesn't take, like you think the problem that you're going through is the most trickiest fucking thing in the world.
Yeah.
And you speak to someone in the car community.
Yeah.
I said, no, fuck, I did that 2 years ago. Just bring that. They'll pull a number out of their phone and just say, call that guy.
Yeah.
He'll sort it out.
Yeah.
Or you need this or you need that.
Well, the best thing is your problem is not unique to you.
No, it's not. It's not fucking unique. And all you need to do is find someone who's got a little bit of a bigger business, not necessarily the same business, not even in the same industry, doesn't even have to be in the same fucking hemisphere.
Totally.
And he says, oh, you can do this.
Yeah.
And I also find most of my friends are business owners. As well.
Yeah.
Not
because that's another big thing about making sure your social circles or the places you hang out in are with either business owners or successful people, because those things are contagious.
Absolutely. like attracts like. And funny enough, we didn't meet through the car community. As I said at the start of this, we met through bio.
Yeah.
And it just seems to be that a lot of these different communities that we're members of all link back to the car community.
Yeah.
Like that seemed, as far as I'm concerned,
interesting groundswell.
But it's all back in the car community. We're all talking about this.
Yeah.
And we're talking about that. But I mean, the one thing I'm against, and people go, "You're fucking crazy, Tav," is I hate people who just store cars. And don't take them out.
We have a funny little joke that like if you're too scared to put kilometers on it, you can't really afford it. So
I couldn't agree more, man. I put 28,000 kilometers on my car in 12 months, almost 30. And I don't care.
Nice.
I don't care. I'll rebuild it or whatever. Like that's half half of the fun is taking it out.
What's experiencing it? All this research that's gone into ultimate aerodynamics, the downforce, these engines that are more powerful than ever.
Someone went to university to design the door handle, for fuck's sake. Industrial designer. I'm in a designer. And he spent 2 years designing that door handle.
Yep.
And it just sits in a warehouse. I get it. And that sort of stuff.
Good investment pieces, but there's more to it. There's even more.
I mean, there is an argument, right? You look at Roland Atkinson's McLaren.
Oh yeah,
the real before McLaren built cars
F1.
with the F1.
Yeah.
He's crashed that car twice.
Yep.
Does it hurt the resale value of that car? No,
not in the slightest.
Not in the fucking slightest.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think it's more people. It's just.
But you know what? I think it's an Australia thing too. I think from what I've seen in the Europe resale market, the K's people are not looking at it.
I don't care.
Australia, it seems to be a big deal though.
I don't fucking know why. Because like at the end of the day, these cars need to be driven. They're not driven.
Yeah.
They come to the market. It's like, to me, it's almost like buying real estate speculatively. Like they'll buy the car, hold the car, service the car, and then try to off-sell it because they think it's better than that. I mean, cars went crazy during COVID, right?
Yeah, totally. A lot of them
fucking insane.
Everything
went fucking insane. And now I think we're at the back end of that.
Yeah.
Where now it's correcting the other way. So I have thoroughly enjoyed our chat today, sir. I've actually been really looking forward to this.
Yes.
Before we finish up today, is there anything that you would love to add?
No, I think it's been a great chat. I had a lot of fun. I appreciate the opportunity to
I'd love
get
to
a recorded chat. So I think we've got plenty to talk about. So,
I'm sure we'll continue this chat after us. But Simon, thank you for joining us today. And I've thoroughly enjoyed it. And until next time, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.